If you haven't been paying attention, for once in our lives, the rich aren't getting richer right now. That's because they got what they wanted. You see, I feel like it was Jesus who said it best when he said, money is the root of much evil. And what's happening in America right now is pretty dang evil. You see, America has spent the last little while ensuring that the rich were taxed too little. And when the rich have too much money, they start to pull shenanigans. You could argue that the Biden administration tried to rein in some of the insanity that was going on amongst the donor class, but realistically, most of that was just performative. If Biden had actually been interested in being president, he wouldn't have just been allowing his Department of Justice to investigate things like collusion amongst the oil industry or landlords using AI to jack up local rental prices. The fact is that America hasn't had anyone who's really been interested in using the office of the president for anything other than making the rich richer and killing brown people for a pretty long time. The difference is that while Biden was beholden to the same people who got Trump into office, Trump is old and he knows that he's kind of close to death and he just doesn't give any fucks anymore, so he's burning it all down. I remember years ago reading about a study that talked about how the more people that someone is in charge of, the more that they get certain chemicals in their brain that make them more comfortable with lying, which explains why, when capitalism left to itself, always devolves into mob rule. The fact is that at very few points in this world have we ever had truly free market capitalism, because we've also typically had laws. But if you notice what's going on in America, the laws don't matter anymore. And so, free market capitalism, since it has no moral compass, is just evolving into CEOs saying, well, how much money do I need to bribe the president with to ensure that I make the most money for my shareholders? And of course, and everyone knows that this isn't sustainable, so the markets are actually responding rationally for once. Moving forward as a species, we need to work on pressuring those in power to put greater restrictions on companies. No company should be able to pay out more to shareholders than they give back to their employees on top of their expected wages, as it is never the stockholders who actually earn the income, but rather the employees. Instead of relying on government to issue stimulus checks, if employers simply paid employees closer to what they're worth, those employees would then reinvest that money into the local economy and allow for more diverse businesses that are more stable and can actually be run by smaller groups of people. Because economies can flourish when people are not spending all of their money on just food and shelter. If wealth is truly shared, then there's enough to go around and people can keep building up their wealth. But when the insanely wealthy are the only ones who are building up any wealth, in order for them to make more money and not have it just look like a rounding error, they have to steal from everyone. While America claims to be a Christian nation, most of the problems it's facing are rooted in the fact that it ignores the teaching of the rabbi that they claim to believe was God incarnate. And I'm not saying that America needs to move to becoming a Christian nation, because I think very few people in America actually know what Christianity even looks like. But if America could work on just being a bit kinder to each other, it would go a long way.